Hi everyone, welcome to Bobby's Reviews. Matt Reeves directed The Batman, and though it took probably, 12 years to get onto the big screen, it scored great with audiences, it scored great with me, and a lot of the skepticism that a lot of people have for this movie is based on the fact that they saw Robert Pattinson in Twilight. Now, I'll admit, I didn't know what this Twilight thing was and didn't have a girlfriend at the time, but I went and watched the movies to see what was going on. They're not great, but gotta give Robert Pattinson a break, because he went from doing that, and then he just did independent movie after another, and he got a lot of great filming in. The Lost City of Z, I remember watching that. About 40 minutes in, I was like, that's Robert Pattinson. He's the old prospector. Great. Good Times, I think it was called. He's done a lot of stuff. Christopher Nolan even wanted to get him on board, and they got him for Tenet. So he's a great actor. He's not Twilight Boy anymore. He's Batman. By the way, I haven't said it yet, but this is a spoiler review, so there's going to be some spoilers in here. So if you haven't seen the movie, go see it. Go watch it now. Do it now. Go do it. Do it now. So go to a movie theater. Go watch it on a matinee for $7-8 depending on where you live. I saw it for $7 one day, and then the second time I saw it for $6.41 because I didn't want to spend $12. But yeah, it was great. First time I saw it, I thought it was too long, and my issues were there was this Joker scene that felt like it shouldn't have been in there. But there is a 5-minute deleted scene that's on YouTube that people can watch. That if it was in the movie, it would have been great to have both of those scenes. When there's a scene when Joker meets the Riddler in Arkham, and they have this. It was pointless to have. I thought it was wasted screen time. I thought it could have been deleted. But if you would have had the deleted Joker scene with Batman, both in the movie, that would have been great. Or if you would have taken both out, that would have been fine. Yeah, Robert Pattinson kills it. The color palette of this movie, the cinematography of this movie, the use of sound when he walks, you can hear his suit moving. They almost have like this cowboy spur-like sound to his feet when he's walking. So it's intimidating. The first 15 minutes of the movie hooks you. If you don't like the first 15 minutes of the movie, you probably just have gone in with such low expectations that you just aren't going to be impressed. But if you get that first 15 minutes, I think you're going to really enjoy the movie. First 15 minutes sets up him talking like a fourth wall, but not to the audience. He's going over what he's done. Very noir, very detective, which is super cool. And they set up how he sets criminals up to fear the shadows at night, that if they go down the wrong, side street or alleyway, that he could be waiting for them. And it's great. That's great. It's a rainy city, I'll say that. It rains a lot, and it's very dark. But when he meets that gang that in the trailer, when he goes, who the hell are you supposed to be? And he just beats the dude up in front of everybody. The main leader of this gang just kicks his butt. And he goes, I'm vengeance. And I'm like, this is a great scene, because he kicks just the setup, the shots are fantastic. Bravo, Matt Reeves. Bravo. You got Zoe Kravitz in there that crushes it in her role. She's the female lead, but she does not need help, to fend for herself. She could do it. She's fine. She's Catwoman. Early on Catwoman, but yeah, she kicks butt too. And they both kick butt, and take names. So she was a really good addition to that. The casting, I'll tell you what, Matt Reeves in the casting fit this world that he was creating. And it's a world. When you're spending 3 hours in a movie, it's going to be a world that he's created. And just the people, Jeffrey Wright, that they get in there. He has this great voice, that any role he's in, if you hear his voice, you go, that's Jeffrey Wright. The What If series, when he was the Watcher, and he's just talking what's going on at a certain time. And but what was different about his performance, and no, it's not the mustache, and he plays a great Gordon. He has more yelling in this movie than I think he's ever done in any film that he's been in. All the yelling he did, every time he would yell and raise his voice and get angry, I got chills because the characters that he plays are really smart, and he talks, and he keeps his voice down here. But in this movie, he's yelling, and I don't know why that was great. It was just great. And his interaction with Batman, how buddy cop this was. And it was just refreshing because I really like the Gordon Batman relationship in the Dark Knight trilogy. But this was more buddy, taking the punches. I really liked their relationship in the film. And then we get introduced to Colin Farrell, which you don't see the entire movie. Every time that you see Colin Farrell on screen as the Penguin, you do not see Colin Farrell. You can't hear him. You just see a character. And Oz, he's such a good character. They introduce him in the scene where Batman goes to his the club, which, by the way, Batman does 3 separate times. One is Batman, do you know who I am? One is Bruce Wayne, which is the same voice because Batman is pretty much prominent 90% of the film, and Bruce is probably 10% of the film. But it's the same person, same character. He doesn't change who he is because he's got no persona as Bruce Wayne. He hasn't developed that yet. But he meets Oz, and Batman's a hardhead, and he's angry, and he's pushing Oz around, and he has a few interactions with him. He plays it's just this world that Matt Reeves developed, where you see the Penguin in other scenes, but it feels like it's part of the world. It doesn't feel like, all right, here's the next scene. It feels like he's living there, is what I'm trying to say. So, just a great thing. The car chase scene that was in the trailer. The way it was shot, it made you feel like you were in the car. It made you feel a little disoriented because they didn't do a lot of wide shots. But when Oz thinks that he got Batman, and then Batman rips through those flames and tears him a new one. Again, see it on the big screen if you can, because some of these set pieces need to be seen on a screen. And then you got Gordon, and Batman doing their detective work, and Penguin kind of sticks it to him, like, you don't know Spanish? And yeah. It was great. Plus, they had him cuffed. His hands and his feet were cuffed. So when they finally left, he was walking like a penguin. I don't know if I was the only person that got that. But both times seeing it, I was like, he's walking like a penguin. It was great. John Turturro, great. Creepy as ever. He was creepy as, I think it was the Jesus. Back in the 90s with The Big Lebowski. But Secret Window is probably the creepiest John Turturro's ever been. This backwoods country dude just showing up. You living in my house. But, he brings, it was, his performance, I mean, they're all great. It's just, he wasn't as menacing. Like, I wasn't intimidated by him like, everybody else, in the movie. Obviously, it wasn't in the movie, but I mean, that leads us up to one of the coolest villains ever, and he's a villain, is the Riddler. And the way he does this webcam interaction and the way his personality, blends seven, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey, and Brad Pitt, with Zodiac, Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal. That mixture of those movies really grounded the character so well, and made him feel like an absolute threat, because Batman was behind him the entire time. There was not one point where he caught on and was ahead of the game like he normally is in the comics or in the movies. He was one step behind the entire time. And I love that. I love that intellect. And he's psychotic. He was creepy as heck. From the videos to his speech pattern to, the way he was killing some of these people. It actually also Saw, if you want to mix Saw in there. That's another blend. But they paid homage to, without being distracting or pulling you out of the movie. Yeah. Paul Dano. Props, man. Great. I mean, all the performances were wonderful. The last 30 minutes, though, I will say, it feels like it's ending 2 or 3 times, and you go, this must be the end. Or no, this must be the end. Or after the Joker scene, you go, oh, it's done. But no, I mean, it went on. But the way it ended, it was beautiful. It kind of ended the way The Dark Knight ended, on a motorcycle. The shots were different, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, go out. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, go do a matinee on a slow day. Go spend the money, see it in the theater, see it on the biggest screen that you can. I will say that AMC is charging more for their ticket prices. So when I looked online and I saw one for $13.49, I went to a movie theater down the street from me. It was $7. So you don't have to spend an arm and a leg, but go see it on a big screen. And if you have seen the movie, jump down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. If you haven't, go out and see it, and then come back, watch this movie again, and let's have a discussion in the comments below. Until next time, see you later.